All right, welcome in. It is Thursday. It is time for Total Bases. We've got 9 games, couple day games, decent slate. I had a decent night last night, 2-0 for me. Bryan, Leonard, how was your Wednesday?
I went 101 for clients. I did win my play on the show yesterday, and the wind is died down a little bit as opposed to the last few days. So keep that in mind. That Cubs game yesterday was crazy with the wind blowing out. Anytime there's 12s in the Cubs game, it's crazy. It was like batting practice out there. So just keep that in mind. Take a look at your bullpens to see, because of the wind blowing out, a lot of these teams have had to really use up their bullpens. But yeah, overall, a little disappointing to go 1-1. But hey, I can't complain. We've been hot as hell. So.
Yeah, speaking of hot as hell, that's a little audible for me. I didn't have another day game in me. I went to Camden Yards yesterday. It was so hot and so draining. It was a crazy scene because if you watched on TV, it looked like no one was there. If you looked in the second level, like with the covered seating, it looked like it was a World Series game. Everyone moved up. So I've got a Tokyo Brandon. When everyone zigs, I like to zag. So I just strolled down and sat right behind the dugout because no one wanted to sit there. But I absolutely cooked. And I had a little change of plans. I did go to Harrisburg last night on the way home, but it's like I ended up getting home late. I was going to go to the Phillies game this afternoon. Could not do any more sun. So I made it back just in time for the show. It was running a little late this morning, but we're here. And, so let me bring you in. How was your night on Wednesday night?
Yeah. You didn't get the Bob Uecker treatment where they come up and say, "Sir, I don't think these must be in the front row."
Let me tell you, if you wanted to sit in the front row at Camden Yards yesterday, more power to you. They were probably like, "Hey, does anyone want to come and sit near the field?" Because I would imagine the Orioles. So
I would imagine the Orioles are jonesing for fans worse than their minor league team. But I was on the Orioles yesterday because, as I said, they were down 2-0 in the series. I figured the other team's going to let up, and they did. And I was on the A's as well. I actually went 3-1, but I lost my 5% play, which was Skeens and Wheeler. I figured the first 5 would be under 4.5 in that game, and I lost that in the second inning because Skeens absolutely vomited. I think it's time not to fade Skeens, but not to back him until he shows that he is an elite pitcher again, because he doesn't look elite anymore. But maybe we'll get to that game later. Looks like I'm sweeping the KBO 3-0, so I can't complain.
There you go. Yeah, is this to date? Is this your best KBO season yet? I feel like it's got to be up there.
Yeah. I'm winning like 68. Johnny sent me the numbers. I'm winning like 68%. I had no idea, but that's unsustainable. But I'll 3-0 again today. I'll keep it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You sent me your numbers too, and your numbers are pretty darn good too. So we're both kind of crushing the KBO better than MLB. For me, you might be doing better in MLB. I'm not sure.
Yeah, can't complain. TV, I'm going to come back to you. You know what? We had this discussion that everyone was weighing in on yesterday, and I think what we were on. I think we're honestly saying some of the same things. One area. Listen, without a doubt, this was my 4% play yesterday. Where I'll agree with you, the Dodgers could not have cared less about that game last night. Listen, when you're 26 games over 500 and you've won back-to-back World Series, I'll give that to you. I don't know that they really cared about a game against the A's at Sutter Health Park. Definitely looking ahead to this series. This is our feature game today. So kick us off, Dodgers Padres. Do you think we see a better effort from the Dodgers tonight?
I was on the Rockies as well because they were down 2-0, and I figured Miami's going to take their foot off the gas, and they did. So anyway, we'll address that discussion again later. We basically agree, though. It's just semantics that we don't agree on.
Well, I don't agree with the lack of effort or not trying. I agree that it is really tough to beat a team 3 times in a row. It just is. Yeah. So yeah, that's.
But they do take their foot off the gas a little. That's my That's what I believe. But we can agree to disagree because we have other games to cover.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Dodgers. So the Dodgers will probably actually try to win today and not bench Mookie Betts, bench Teoscar Hernandez, bench their entire bullpen, and bench their entire starting rotation. So they'll probably try to win this one, but they got Sasaki going against Randy Vasquez. I don't like either one of these pitchers, what they're showing me, although Sasaki, kind of a Jekyll and Hyde. Sometimes he looks good, sometimes he doesn't. Randy Vasquez started the season off really well and recently been lagging a little bit. So I expect a lot of runs here. Dodgers are rested. San Diego always gets up for Big Brother game. I would expect an over in this, although I haven't played it yet. I'm curious to know what you guys think about that.
Brian, let's get you in here. I don't know that the Dodgers are just like so much more up for another game today. Like I said, they could coast in the playoffs at this point right now. Do you think that there's like, we talked about this the last couple of years, June into July, like maybe into the All-Star break, are you going to kind of see the Dodgers just kind of just go through the motions a little bit?
You do see that coming into the All-Star break a lot of times. A team, well, it's like just think about it back when you're going to school. I always treat it that way. You get into the end of the year or you get into the Christmas break, and it's hard to concentrate. And these guys are in the same boat, especially about right now because you got the 4th of July, you got the 250th anniversary. We'll talk about the Phillies game in a little bit, but yeah, it's something to keep in mind. And I do want to correct TB. It wasn't that Mookie Betts, they sat him. He was injured. So he may be missing this game as well. He's had some problems lately with injuries. But both bullpens are very good for both these teams, and they're in great shape for this game. So even though we don't really care for either one of these starters, I think the second half of the game, the bullpen should be able to dominate a little bit. But yeah, the Dodgers have been very good coming home off of a road loss. They've been excellent in that regard. And I could see that here. This is the team that they want to beat. This is their best, the other team in the division that's been better. In fact, I believe it was last year that the Padres actually won the division and the Dodgers came in second. Was that correct?
I don't have the division standings
or the year before. So they don't even need to
definitely one of the 2 years. You're right. Definitely one of the 2 years.
Yeah, but this is a game for myself, and overall, it's a shorter card today. Obviously, we've got 3-day games and the 5 or 6 night. So this game is sitting right now at about 195 with a total of 8.5, 8.5 over, 9 under. Randy Vasquez isn't a guy I've been looking to back, and Suzuki's been inconsistent. So there's other games I'm more interested in this one, but just keep in mind the Dodgers have done well coming back after a losing game. So maybe we'll get a better effort out of them today. That was a good call by TB on the A's yesterday. It was one of those games where I knew I should have played the A's. In fact, there's a lot of games I knew I should have played a certain side, and I didn't get there. Kicking myself, but congratulations on getting there with the underdog.
Yeah, A's was my only bet yesterday in Major League Baseball, 4% play. I still would go I still think the Dodgers are from a price standpoint are quite like overpriced here. And that's going to be, you can probably pick, if you look at games 7 days a week, 6 of those days, you're going to probably be able to say the Dodgers are overpriced. It is just where we are at. They're 25 games over 500. It's well known that they have the most talent in the league, that they're one of the best teams in the league. So that's not like breaking news by any means. Where I might be able to like make a case for making a bet in this game is I'll go back to what I said prior to the Cubs series. Now, I don't know what that was yesterday. To be honest, I was at the Orioles game. I didn't watch the Cubs play beer league softball and put 23 runs on the Padres. So I may have to go back and dig into that a little bit more. But like, I still think the Padres, and you look at the lineup and you look at some of these guys that are hitting well under their career averages, I still think we see the Padres maybe play better ball. And this, like both of you kind of had mentioned, the Padres are going to be up for this game no matter what. The Padres pretty much always get up for the Dodgers. The Padres still view the Dodgers as their rival, even though the Dodgers might not reciprocate that thought. So I don't know if Randy Vasquez has never been a guy I've had much luck backing. got to be honest, I haven't had much luck going against him either. Every time I go against him, he throws 6 innings of 1-run ball.
Yeah.
Padres look pretty good as an underdog here, though. +1.5. I have, Brian, it's funny. You brought up 9-game slate. I have like 7 like actual opinions. I might have to like go back and tighten this down. That's something I don't love. I should not be showing value on like 7 games on a 9-game slate. I'm going to have to reel it in, but Padres +1.5 was one of those things that were showing up for me a little bit. All right, let's go to the chat. Let's go to a day game. Slick Vic, Burns, and Miz, both 8-2 in their last 10 starts. Yeah, this will be a little bit of a treat this afternoon. The Reds, Bryan, Leonard, I'll let you kick this one off. You've talked about their struggles within the division, and they continue their series today against maybe the best pitcher on planet Earth right now in Jacob Misiorowski. Reds, Brewers, how are you seeing this one?
Yeah, when the schedule was announced and they had this pitching matchup, I said, I've got to watch this one. This is, if you like young major league pitchers with strikeout potential, this is the game to watch. I didn't have any big plays really going yesterday, so I went out to Red Rock and watched the games. It was funny because the guy next to me was making fun of the Baltimore crowd. He goes, there's nobody there. And obviously we got information on why that was the situation, as everybody had moved back. So I appreciate that. But yeah, Cincinnati and Milwaukee. Milwaukee has dominated Cincinnati. Misiorowski has been terrific all season long. Burns has been very good as well. We're getting a total of 7 here with Milwaukee about a 195 favorite at this point. Milwaukee's playing great. They've been great last month. They're playing very well. Cincinnati is a team that right now is on the season tied for last in offensive WRC plus. As I mentioned, I think they're going to get better. I doubt they get better against Misiorowski, but should be a great pitching match to watch. I prefer Milwaukee, obviously, because they've dominated this team, but they are going for the sweep. And we all know that the team that is being swept seems to give more effort. But then again, Milwaukee, when they got Misiorowski on the mound, they know how well he's done. Maybe if you play this game, maybe you play Milwaukee team total under, something to that effect, because they usually don't have to score much for Miz. And it's going to be tough to score against Burns here. So let me take a quick look at what the team total is. We're looking at Milwaukee at 3.5 to the over. So they got to score 4 runs off of Cincinnati at home in a getaway day. I believe they are. Are they leaving? Let me check the Milwaukee schedule real quick here. I don't know if they stay home for their next series or not. Let me give it a quick look. They go to Arizona. So it is a getaway game for them. So that helps us a little bit. So if I play them, I play Milwaukee team total under the 3.5 at plus money.
Yeah, Tokyo Brandon, yesterday you kind of pointed to some value on the Reds. I kind of agreed with that. The Brewers are another team, but the Brewers are another team right now that, I mean, it's every day that you're being asked to pay a premium to back the Brewers. I think you're being asked to pay a premium to back the Brewers here, although this one kind of makes sense because it's Misiorowski on the mound. That being said, I'm trying to make a case for the underdog. Do you still see value on the Reds here?
I'm trying to make a case for the underdog as well. By the way, you guys, you can get a double play. 2 of your 3 favorite handicappers here for 3 days. Huge discount. We're all on torrid runs right now, especially Bryan. Double play would be a nice thing to grab. 2 of us for 3 days. I think the Reds are a live dog here. I think not just because I don't think the Reds are a better team, but I do think that the pitchers are both really good. And I think both bullpens are equally in poor shape right now. And Milwaukee's one of those teams that has to string together runs. They don't really power runs over the fence like other teams. And against a pitcher like Burns, runs are going to be hard to come by. I wouldn't argue with Bryan's team total under, but I like Cincinnati. If you can get +1.5 or even +2 for really good price. And, yes, Misiorowski's probably the best pitcher on the planet right now, but Burns is probably the 5th best pitcher on the planet right now. You get a 9-1 pitcher with a 2 ERA plus 1.5 runs, I think is a great value. So that's the way I would go. Add to the fact that they're down 2-0 in the series, and Milwaukee doesn't need the win. So,
well, Tokyo, Brandon, this is a one spot where I 1000% agree with you in that thought process. So they're actually down 3-0. This series has gone on since Monday, and this is where it has nothing to do with effort. It's the fact that the Brewers are at home here. Okay, they've won three straight games in this series. If you go back to Sunday, every single game they've played has been close where they've had to burn leverage bullpen arms. Okay, because the game on Sunday, even though they lost going back and forth in extra innings with the Cubs. Okay, so far this series, 5-3 on Monday. Tuesday was a little bit more of a cushion, 7-2, and then yesterday 4-2. Chase Burns, while he might not have he's not necessarily Mizorowski. He certainly on a given day can go out and match him. The Reds, their bullpen's going to be worse than the Brewers probably long term, but today, when you get all the Reds' best arms in the bullpen behind Burns, whereas the Brewers, this is what I think you're talking about. They're probably going to shuffle the arms at the end of this game just because they don't want to burn guys out. And especially the Brewers are another team. You're so far ahead. You've won so many games this year. Absolutely no reason to burn someone out. So, Bryan, Leonard, I know you had something to add here. We'll come to you for this game, but I kind of think that Reds plus 1.5 is going to be my parlay leg. Talk to me, Reds, Brewers. What do you have to add?
Yeah, I wanted to point out that Pagan came back last night for Cincinnati. He'd been gone the last month. He's their closer. Not one of the elite closers, not going to blow people away, but he's done a very good job as the closer for this team. That really helps them out. And I did want to point out what you just mentioned, the Milwaukee bullpen. Trevor McGill has pitched 3 of the last 4 days. Uribe only threw 5 pitches yesterday. He'll probably be their closer in today's game if they have the lead. Aaron Ashby has pitched 3 of the last 4 days, picking up 2 victories. He leads major leagues. He's a middle reliever, and he leads the major leagues in wins. I believe he has 13 now. It's just incredible. It tells you how good this pitching staff is, that he can come in, and if they're behind, that offense can get him in front. And luckily he's on my fantasy team, so I'm getting some wins out of him that I didn't expect to get. So, but the bullpen, you're going to be without Ashby and McGill, whereas Cincinnati is going to have their closer back. That's a little bit of an edge here for Cincinnati. There's got to be a way to play Cincinnati. Like I said, Milwaukee team total under. Let me take a quick look here at the spread. You can get Cincinnati right now plus the 1.5, basically in about the 140, 145 range, minus 140, 145. I wouldn't disagree with that either. So it's a different way to play it, but I think we're all looking at something similar in this game.
I'm going to wait till. Yeah, go ahead, TB.
Right. You can go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm going to probably wait till the end of the show, but that's the clubhouse leader for me for what my parlay leg is going to be. Tokyo Brandon, I'm going to give you a chance to respond to this because I got to shut this down right now. Listen, we're not going to bring this up after this 90 seconds. I never disagreed with Tokyo Brandon's reasoning for liking to fade teams that are going for a sweep. The only thing I disagreed with, and it's because I am personal friends with like probably 6 guys that either currently are playing Major League Baseball or most of them are like my age and they're now out of the game. I just like the thought that these guys are not like pouring their heart and soul into like the entire season, or that coaches don't want to win, is a preposterous claim. That's all I was saying. What TV is saying about fading teams in this spot is I agree with him. So there's no disagreement there. That's all I was saying. So Bob says Adam's shit all over that reasoning. No, I literally agree with what TV is saying. And I think here is a perfect example of where it applies. This is like a perfect spot where you can say, yeah, this is where the Brewers are maybe a little, as Marco likes to say, fat and what's the term?
Fat and sassy.
Fat and sassy. Perfect spot to do it. Go ahead, TV.
Yeah, I think managers take their foot off the gas when they've already secured the series. That's what I think. So that's just what I think. And
you're right. In terms of like, they're going to use some B bullpen arms. They might give a guy a day off. 100%.
So we agree.
Can't disagree with that.
regarding these two pitchers, I just want to throw this out and we can move on to another game. But Chase Burns gave up 5 runs in his last start. But before that, he had not given up 3 earned runs since April. And Mizrowski has not given up 3 earned runs since April 26th. So runs are going to be very hard to come by in this game. That's just a little stat I wanted to throw out there.
All right, let's move it along. Freebird, first of all, thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. All the donations to this show go to a charity that our home office decides. They work with quite a few of them. They spread it around a little bit, so it's much appreciated. Also, Freebird, thank you for the birthday wishes. I turned 40 today. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't feel 40, but time is undefeated, as you guys know. So yeah, hopefully some winners for the birthday. Let's talk about this game. I was gonna go to this game until I realized I'd be enduring another 100-degree and humid day at the ballpark, and I decided to come back home. Instead, I'm going to go watch this game at lunch with a couple of my friends. But for you, Freebird, we're still going to talk about it. Bryan, Leonard, kick us off. This is the first game on the slate today. Pirates, Phillies in what's probably going to be a 1,000-degree day at Citizens Bank Ballpark.
Jones against Rangel. We're looking at about a 130 favorite, 128 for Philadelphia, total 10.5. The total's a little high in this one, if you ask me. The winds aren't blowing like they did in earlier games. Jones is the guy who I wanted to bet in this game, but I'm not sure I'm getting the number I want. Interesting to note, there are 4 teams, I believe, that will not be playing tomorrow on a Friday, and I believe most of that is because of the game in Texas. I think, is there a soccer game in Texas and a soccer game in Philadelphia? I'm assuming that's why they've got the days off. But it's the first time I remember that there was a Friday schedule that wasn't full. So actually, Philadelphia has Monday off as well, and I think Kansas City does. Anyway, but there's Philadelphia only has to play 2 games in the next 4 days. That is amazing, and it works out really well because Philadelphia, obviously, key city in the history of this country. It's 4th of July. Yeah, so it's a good time to be in Philadelphia. The players are probably excited to get a couple of days off. They could probably attend some things with their families. So, yeah, it'll work out well. The problem is they're playing so well, are they going to be distracted with everything going on there? Pittsburgh has not looked good the last couple of days. I would expect Pittsburgh to play a good game today. Maybe we play Philadelphia team total under, because I think 10.5 is a little high. You mentioned the heat. This is going to be going on at noon Eastern, right? And that's back when I lived in the East in Cleveland. It was pretty hot at that time of day. But let's take a look at Philadelphia's team total is 5.5 to the under. You're laying 140 in that regard, but still 135, 140. That's not a bad bet to me. Bad bet to me. Philadelphia's been hitting a lot of home runs lately, and the top of the order's been hot. But I think Jones has looked better than what his numbers have shown lately. Maybe I'll get involved with that and play Philadelphia team total under. 10.5 is to me, off the top of my head, just seems to be at least a half a run too high. Did you make a total on this one, Trig?
I did, and I just wanted the high in Philly today is 101. Like, that doesn't happen out here very often. That's 101 with humidity. That is going to be.
Dude. That's not like
and so
Arizona 101.
Yeah, so that's going to be like, with the humidity, it's probably going to feel like 110, something like that. And you're just going to be, the air is going to be heavy, like in terms of like, you're just going to sweat just by being outside. It's going to take a lot out of them. Yes, Bryan, I did make a total. I got to combine these two numbers. I'm over 10 runs in this game. I'm at 10.1 would be my adjusted total for this. So where's the game total on this one, though? I didn't even see. I haven't really. 10.5. Yep. Is that what you said?
10.5.
Yeah, it's probably because Rangel is not perceived. You know, that's a tough one because I'll let TB weigh in and then I'll bring up the rear on this one. But I don't know what to think about the total. I'm slightly under where the market is though.
So yeah, I'm a little torn on this game. Number one, I don't know much about Rangel, but on my YouTube channel, I put up my outs projections and strikeouts projections, and I think Jones is not a guy who's going to last long, especially in this heat. And he hasn't really been himself. Both of these teams are putting up runs like crazy. I've got Pittsburgh ranked 4, and I've got Philly ranked 6 in run production. However, now this is where I'm conflicted, because yesterday, after that offensive explosion, it's just the ebb and flow of baseball, but teams tend to calm down the next day. I would love to bet an over here. I would love to bet both of these power lineups absolutely crush the opposing pitcher, but just funny stuff about baseball. It just doesn't happen like it's supposed to sometimes. And I have a feeling this is going to be an under for some odd reason, with all the heat and 2 very questionable starters who probably won't go very long. Just have a feeling this is going to be a really weird under, but I'm not betting it.
TB,
I have a 4% play
agree
today, but it's not on this game.
I kind of agree. I could see it. I could see it staying under as well. Again, the heat is going to be brutal. Maybe guys are lagging a little bit, but I think the reason my numbers shade slightly toward the under is I'm still higher on Jared Jones than probably the entire market at this point. I still think, listen, the guy throws 99. He's got a great fastball. Before the injury, he was, people were talking about him as like a legitimate ace. And the only reason he maybe didn't get hyped up as the ace back then was because they knew Paul Skeens was coming, because Paul Skeens was in the pipeline, right? Like Jones was up before Skeens. And for a stretch, people were like, oh, this is the ace of the Pirates. And then we're going to get Skeens down the road. So I still think he's this guy. For whatever reason, he hasn't quite been able to put it all together at the big league level this year, which to me is it's puzzling, because he looked so good through like a month and a half of rehab that you just kind of assume that he would come up and throw the ball well once he got back to the bigs. But I still, like, if you want to talk about the difference between the two pitchers, Jared Jones, in my opinion, will put it together at some point and be a really good big league starting pitcher. Alan Rangel is a 4A guy that's here to eat up some innings. Okay, this is a guy, he's been in Lehigh Valley for like 4 years. This is a dude that you keep in the organization. So if you have something that happens, like where Andrew Painter needs to go back to Lehigh Valley and totally relearn how to pitch because he can't execute his pitches at the big league level, you call up a guy like Rangel and say, hey, we're going to need you up with the big boys for like 3 weeks or so. Don't worry, you're heading back to Lehigh Valley where you've been the last 4 years, but we need you for a couple weeks. That's what he is. These two pitchers are not equal in any stretch of the imagination. Like, Jared Jones is the far better starter. And I told you, I said this the other day, the Pirates, they hit bad pitching. Like, this is what they do. They tee off on suspect pitching. They'll struggle against the tough guys typically. I think the Pirates, if there's going to be a team that hits today, I think the Pirates are going to hit. I actually think there's big time underdog value here. This might make my card. This might be my parlay league. Like I said, someone says, who gives a fuck? I don't know. If you're trying to bet these games, I would think that you would probably care about some of those things. So again,
yeah, the betting, we're trying to win money. We're not watching games for entertainment. If you're watching games for entertainment, you're never going to win. So just forget it.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Go ahead, Bryan.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that, as I mentioned, Philadelphia's got tomorrow off, and they've scored 25 runs in the last 3 games. I've been there. It's a Friday right before a big weekend. So it's an early game. Yes, Philadelphia doesn't have to travel. They do have tomorrow off. Pittsburgh has to travel, obviously. And I could see one of these games, this being one of those games where they don't go deep in the account. Both teams want to get the hell out of there, especially with the heat. Yeah, I think that Philadelphia team total under is a nice bet, under the 5.5.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can get plus 115 with the better pitcher. And actually, the crazy thing is that the Pirates have substantially better offensive numbers this year than the Phillies. When you get outside of the big three and the Phillies, Schwarber, Harper, Turner, that is not a good lineup. It's just not a good lineup. Very, very poor 4 through 9 there. So I think Philly is a fade generally for me. I think I'd go against him here.
I will say that they go a little bit deeper than that. Obviously, Brandon Marsh is having just an incredible season.
The BABIP
after that, I agree. In fact, if you look at their numbers on the Fangraphs page, after the top 4 guys, they've got Bohm 167, Scott 176, Real Muto 250, Raconis 302. So, yeah, it really drops off after the top 4.
Yeah, no luckier hitter in Major League Baseball than Brandon Marsh. Go look at his batting average on balls in play number. Guy's like just absolutely blessed. Right? Everything he hits finds green grass. It is uncanny. Like it's like the Just Baseball guys posted this earlier in the year. Like it's like historic. His average on balls that he puts in play. Someone in the chat says bet Adam wears flip flops. I don't own a pair of flip flops. I don't think I've had flip flops in about a decade. So no.
Croc.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty much I wear Noble sneakers and On Cloud sneakers. Those are my 2 that I kind of alternate. Nobles are the ones I work out in, and the other ones are whatever. That's pretty much what I'm wearing these days because people care. Yeah, both great shoes. Love them both. Anyway, and I have a pair of Nikes too. Just because, again, people seem to be concerned with what my footwear is. Yeah. Anyway, Alex Rand says Cardinals Braves. Are the Braves back? Tokyo Brandon, I'll let you start this one off. Braves had a tough month of June. Talked about yesterday. Maybe they just needed that calendar to flip to July. Still a good ball club. So to you, are the Braves back? Do you like them against the Cardinals here?
Well, they had one good game. I don't know if that can makes you back or not. Looking at my current form rankings, I have both of these teams batting worse than 25th in current form. Now that considers the last 7 days, last 10 days, and last 14 days. So, which to me is pretty much all that matters, because that takes into account injuries and things like that. Dustin May is having a pretty good season. I mean, I didn't expect this when he went from when he left the Dodgers. He's this year he's pretty good. I don't know why. Is it the great ballpark that he likes or what? But the 1.20 whip is very respectable considering I thought he was going to have a horrible season coming into the season. He has not. How does he do against these Braves? Well, in his career, 70 at-bats against, he has a 200 average against and a 668 OPS, which to me is pretty darn good. I don't know much about Waldrop, so I'm going to kind of stay away from that portion. But I think Atlanta Braves, maybe a team total in the first half under, or if you get a 2.5, I definitely would take an under in the first 5 for the Atlanta Braves team total. I think St. Louis is a pretty good shot of winning this game. Although I don't like their bullpen, I do like Atlanta's bullpen. So I don't know. Cardinals first 5 or an Atlanta Braves team total first 5 under would be the 2 ways I would approach this one.
Bryan, this was the one game I didn't have a huge opinion on, so I'll let you go and see if I can think of anything clever to say after you break this one down.
All right. May and Waldrop are the 2 starters. Waldrop's about a 110, 112 favorite right now, a total of 9. I actually like Atlanta in this game. I prefer Waldrop over Dustin May. Dustin May hasn't pitched in 11 days. He has had back problems, and they keep pushing him back. So that's not a good sign here. Plus, it takes him out of his rhythm. As TB has said in the past, these guys are in a habit of they want it every 6th day, every 5th day, 6th day, and it's been 11 days on him. Yeah, I am a little bit concerned about St. Louis here. They have not played as well lately as they did earlier. I love what they've done all season long. I love the coaching job that they've had, but they don't have as much talent as Atlanta does, even with the injuries that Atlanta has. The Braves have been very good in this price range when they play at home. If they're like a 130 favorite or less, they've been really dominant. And if you ask me, even though St. Louis has been very good to me all season long, you're getting the Braves at home with home advantage. And the home advantage is basically about a 120. So they're telling you that St. Louis is the better team here in this game. I'm not really sure. I kind of like Waldrop better. And Atlanta has not hit as of late, but they're a better hitting team than this. The first part of the season, they were one of the best offenses in baseball. They have not been the second half of the season. They're somewhere in between, and they're being graded right now. If you ask me, they're being graded on how they have hit over the last 3 weeks or so, when in reality, and I talked about this in a game yesterday when we talked about the pitcher for in the Minnesota game, and I said, is this Houston pitcher ranked 4th right now? Is he that good? Well, no, he came back to what we expected overall. So I expect Atlanta to get on a little bit of a run here, playing at home. The line is cheap. On a card that I don't see anything jumping out at me at this point, I think Atlanta is one of the games that has some value.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I forgot to bring that up. We did cash the parlay yesterday. Nice 3-teamer for us there. If I'm freezing up a little bit, is Spectrum is notifying us that we may have outages. So hopefully I'm still on the show. That's because we're getting the same. Central New York's getting the same 100 degrees. There's been power outages all over the area the last couple of days. So nothing I can do about that. But we'll battle through it. As far as this game is concerned, all I have to add, Hurston Waldrop coming back from injury. I guess if I knew exactly how long they intended to go with him, I'd be more comfortable with the Braves play here. He's had one rehab start. He pitched into the 5th inning, and then the Braves used him, I believe, in relief in the Giants series for 2 innings. But his numbers, if you look at his numbers through all of rehab, really, really good. So far, a 150 batting average against, a 1.38 whip, and that is in 17.1 innings with rehab included. So only 2 of those innings are at the big league level, which was his 2-inning relief outing against the Giants. The rest would have been accumulated, but over 5 appearances. So they really haven't pushed him very deep yet. I think best case scenario, he probably goes 5 innings. But listen, if you get 5 good innings out of Waldrop here, I think the Braves could be in pretty good position to win. So just for the sake of making a pick here, I'll side with the Braves, but definitely not one of the ones I like. Not one of my 7 opinions on this card. All right, let's. So I just brought up the fact that we cashed the parlay yesterday. We're now in the plus on these. Tokyo Brandon, do you have an idea of what you want to use for your parlay leg today?
I do, actually, and it's a game we have not talked about. Shall I bring it up?
Yeah, let's go. Good. Yep.
Okay, let's do it. It is a game that I did mention at the beginning of the show, but before that, let me tell you that WagerTalk does have a double play going. You can get 2 of your favorite 3 handicappers for 3 days. Huge discount. WagerTalk's also doing a bunch of other specials, like 4th of July special. They're also doing a 6 days for the price of 3 for your favorite handicapper. All 3 of us running pretty good right now, especially Bryan. So would be a good time to pick up one of those. So see the deals that WagerTalk's doing right now, because they just released a bunch of them that I can't think off the top of my head, but lots of discounts and deals. It's going to be the Dodgers Padres, and we brought it up at the beginning, but I'm going to take the Dodgers here. I don't like Randy Vasquez against the Dodgers. He struggled against them in his career. He's not a very good road pitcher, and let's face it, nobody really liked Randy Vasquez going in to this season, and he kind of surprised most of us. Well, maybe I stand a little mistaken on that. Away, he's not good on the road. He actually has a better ERA on the road. However, he's got horrible stats against the Dodgers in his career. Coming into this season, I don't think anyone liked Randy Vasquez, but he's kind of changed our opinion a little bit about him. But I think he's using a little smoke and mirrors because some of his expected numbers not quite as good as the numbers he's actually putting up. I think the Dodgers are fully rested because they basically threw yesterday's game. So give me the Dodgers here. I think they're going to smack little brother around pretty good. Great home team. They have 15 to 20 more wins than the Padres at this point. And they're probably at 20 games better than the Padres, let's face it. So give me the Dodgers here.
TB, you got me all excited for a game we haven't talked about when we opened the show with Dodgers Padres. So now we need a game we haven't talked about. Brian Leonard, do you have a game we haven't talked about for the parlay? If not, I'll go. I have one I think that I can.
Am I getting senile? Did we cover this
that.
whole game? Holy cow.
It was literally the feature game of the show. It was the feature game of the show. We opened the show with Dodgers Padres. Right. Brian, I need a game we haven't talked about. Do you want to talk about let's talk about White Sox Guardians, and then unless you have a different game that we haven't talked about for parlay.
Yeah,
Go for it, Brian.
Let me play the Angels Seattle game.
All right, yeah, let's go there.
By the way, his number on the Dodgers is basically 190.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to play Seattle, and
I can't believe I did that.
line's too high. Well, it's not too high. The line is correct, but I don't want to lay 210 on. I don't care if it's a parlay or if it's anything. It's tough to lay if you're going to play. I may give it out as like a 1% play for clients just because it's such a high. But I really like Seattle in this one. Miller pitching at home. Seattle against divisional rivals have been fantastic. But I kind of like Urena going for the Angels. So instead of giving out Seattle, I'm going to play the under in this game. There is a couple of 7.5s out there, minus 125. I prefer that, obviously. But even on a 7, the worst we'll do is push on that. You can get under 7 at basically plus 100, maybe plus a couple, plus 105 or 103 or something. But either way you want to play it, I'll leave it up to Trig on what we'll give out here for the parlay. But I like Urena a little bit here, and I really like Miller, and obviously the Seattle bullpen is improving as the season goes on. The closer, Munoz, is starting to get better. His actual advanced stats are better than the numbers he has shown. But Seattle playing at home, it's a night game, and they have dominated, as I mentioned before, they have dominated division rivals. And Miller is a guy right now that I want to back him. He's pitching very well. So I'm going to play the under. I'll leave it up to Trig what he wants to do. Under 7 at plus 100 or under 7.5 at minus 123. Whichever one you choose, that'll be my part of the parlay today. But I really do like Seattle. I just didn't want to lay the 210.
So without a doubt, under 7.5. That is, especially if we're going to put it in a parlay, that 7 to 7.5 is as big of a, in my opinion, a key number as you're going to find in totals betting in baseball. So the fact that we can put it in the parlay for only minus 123 makes sense. I kind of like the Angels here. I was thinking Angels plus 1.5, and I think Tokyo Brandon, I'll bring you back in. I have to go reassess and trim my card down a little bit. For me, I've been higher than the market on Walbert Arena. And so I see the Angels, they're on the road, they're catching the run, with at a reasonable price. You're getting the extra at bat. The Mariners, not really just putting up like the offensive numbers you would want from a team that you're going to, need to win by more than 2 and 8 at bats with. So that was kind of my rationale for liking the Angels a little bit, but they're still the Angels, still not a great baseball team. So Angels, Mariners to you, how are you seeing it?
The annual Mike Trout injury has already occurred, but the Angels are still actually producing runs fairly well. I have them ranked 16 while I have Seattle ranked 22. So that's in run production in current form. And I got the Angels bullpen is pitching really well. I got them ranked 5th, where I got Seattle ranked 18 in current form. So Bryce Miller has been amazing against these Angels, though, in his career. 53 at-bats against huge sample size, a 189 average, 578 OPS. That's 200 points better than what I consider the Mendoza line. So excellent. I would say an Angels team total under, perhaps. Even if it's 2.5 is tough to take in Major League Baseball. A bloop and a blast and you're done. So if it's 2.5, I won't take it. I would consider a 3.5 under for the Angels. But man, their bullpen's pitching really well. So maybe an under. Ureña's a really weird pitcher. He's got a great ERA, but his whip is really high, which tells me he's putting a lot of guys on base, but they're not getting in. So it tells me he's getting kind of lucky. And that dam's probably going to break soon because I've watched him and he's really not as good as his ERA. So I can't argue with your guys' opinion there, but I think at Angels under might be a better way to go, just because Seattle's bats are not hot yet.
If it wasn't 2.5,
Bryan, go ahead.
I would have chose that. But I do want to point out, since we had
Gotcha.
such a argument on it yesterday, or disagreement, or different ways to look at it, the Angels are trying to avoid the sweep. I just wanted to point that out.
Well, I want to point out, Tokyo Brandon, your numbers are, I think, so accurate when it shows like the Angels and how good their bullpen has been. So like, this is a team, like if you came into the season or you look at this bullpen, you'd go, oh, that's a bad bullpen. Okay.
They've never been good.
Right. They've been horrible for years. On paper, they didn't look like a good bullpen. That's something the Angels deserve some credit for. They went out, they got a collection of arms that weren't necessarily like these great leverage relief arms, but they have figured out, like, they have some guys right now that are coming in at the end of games and they've been very good. Chase Silseth, I can't say that name, has been solid.
Yeah.
Sammy Natera, I think, got called up and has been great since he got called up. There's, even Zephyr John, who was the guy that like they traded for a while back and they wanted him to be their closer, and then he didn't do very well. He's starting to come around a little bit. At least the last couple times I've watched the Angels. I do think it's reasonable to say that bullpen is much better than the market gives them credit for. Still probably not a great bullpen, but they definitely have some arms. And if Arena throws a good game, I don't see why the Angels wouldn't be in this game. So hopefully for our sake, both these pitchers throw a good game. Bryce Miller certainly should be able to against this lineup. This lineup without Trout is pathetic. It is a pathetic lineup. That is not a big league lineup. They had the lineup they trotted out there a couple times last week legitimately looked like a Salt Lake Bees lineup. So, Bryan, I think you're on to something about trying to target the underrated.
Neto and Adele are really the only two guys that you can trust, and Adele's really not having that great of a season. So,
and neither is Neto. Neto really hasn't had a great year.
45th overall, but we were expecting big things out of him this year. It's tough to be the only guy, get on base, and right behind him he's got Denzer Guzman and Shanuel right behind him, two guys that aren't known for power. It's a tough situation. Soler's back, and he gives them a little bit of a power boost, but he strikes out too much. Josh Lowe, who they sent to the minors, is back in the lineup. I'm a little bit concerned about this Angels lineup. Ohapi hasn't worked out like a lot of people thought. So, not much hitting on this Angels team.
On paper, worst lineup in Major League Baseball by a wide margin right now. If we're just going on paper and just looking at the numbers, worst lineup in Major League Baseball. It is not close, in my opinion. Bryan, Leonard, I'm coming back to you. We're going to close this down. We got time for one more. Let's go Guardians, White Sox. And we've already talked about what I'm going to use for my parlay. So let's do the Guardians game. You're the Guardians guy for this show. The White Sox head to Cleveland to kick off a pretty big series in the AL Central. So let's hit this one. Davis, Martin, Slade, Ciccone, how are you seeing it?
Yeah, it's first place in the division. Cleveland continues to play well. Well, I don't know if they play well, but they're surviving without their all-star third baseman. Martin against Ciccone. It's basically a pick 'em right now. You can get 110 or less on each side. Total 8.5. Somewhat like the under in this game. Cleveland starters. I send out, when you follow people on Twitter, I send out information. Once in a while I'll throw in an ad or something, but a lot of times if I find an interesting article or something, I always tweet it out. And there was some talk, Rakowski, is that his name? That is the pitching guru. He's on like a ESPN network and things. He said something out and he talked about Cleveland pitchers learning new pitches in season, and they've been working out very well. So Ciccone's been pretty good as of late. All the Cleveland pitchers right now, the starters are pitching pretty well. So they're developing new pitches as the season goes on, and they're confident in this division that they can make the playoffs. So I like what they're doing, and it seems to be working out very well. So I think they can shut down this Chicago offense a little bit. Cleveland's a much better pitching team than some of the others they've faced as of late. And Cleveland's offense doesn't score a lot, and Martin's been one of those guys that has been a nice surprise this year. So if I'm going to play it, I'm probably going to play the under 8.5. That seems to be a little bit high. I would have probably made it 8. Slight edge to the under in this game. This is a card that I'm not in love with at this point. Luckily, 5 of the games will be going at night. 5 or 6 of the games will go at night. So maybe I'll have something up a little bit later in that regard. But no big plays from me today. So if you're looking to get 2 out of the 3, I would go with the other 2 gentlemen today. And that's what I like about this show and Wager Talk overall is we can root for each other. And if I don't have anything big going today, I would prefer you buy the other guy's plays. I'm going to have something for clients, and I expect to win. But if you're looking for bigger plays, these are the ways that you should bet it today with these 2-pack from these other 2 guys.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this pretty much any day. When we're winning or we're losing, I don't think you can go wrong with either of the 2. There's going to be ebbs and flows all season. I always thought you should try to buy a guy after he has maybe a bad day. That would have been my pick buying strategy. But try to you miss the losses, try to catch the uptick a little bit. But that double play package is a great deal. Doesn't matter who you decide to use for it. We think it's a good decision no matter what. Tokyo Brandon, I think it's a good decision to take the White Sox here, but I want to see you're the Davis Martin guy. This was your guy before anyone really liked him. And then he went off, and then he had a bad couple starts. But hey, I think he's coming back around a little bit. He's looked very solid the last 2 starts. Not as much swing and miss, but last 2 starts, 11 1/3, 1 earned run, 4 walks, only 9 hits. Not bad. What do you think about Davis Martin here?
Yeah, precisely. As you said, he's looked great. I've mentioned in previous shows, the Slade Ciccone, he's been a thorn in my side ever since he was with the Diamondbacks, man. This guy, I back him. He gives up 7. I fade him. He goes 7 innings, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. I mean, this guy, man, he's like Medusa for me. But I like the under in this, at least in the first 5, because Davis Martin has some pretty poor stats against these hitters. However, he was not as good a pitcher as he is this season. So I'm going to kind of forgive his past. And, he cheated in the past. Let's forgive him and give him a new start here. He's having a great year. He did have a little dip, but like you said, his last 2 starts were great. I think he'll shut down these Guardians. I have the Guardians ranked 24 in hitting right now in current form. Pretty bad. But I got the White Sox ranked pretty high. I think Ciccone can come out and tame them a little bit. I don't think the White Sox are going to go scoring 5 runs on him. And I don't think the Guardians are going to score 1 on Davis Martin. So, yeah, I think a first 5 under or a full game. I wouldn't do a full game under, though, because I definitely don't like the Guardians bullpen right now. But the White Sox are the better team. The problem is the Guardians are a good home team. And let me make sure. Yeah, the Guardians are a good home team, and the White Sox are a poor road team. So I like the under more than I like the side.
What's amazing, the White Sox run differential is so far and away better than every other team in this division. Here's my take. Coming into the year, I thought the White Sox had an outside chance to win this division. Now I think they will win this division. I think it's their division to lose. I really think they're a superior team to the Guardians. The only way I would bet this game would be to take the White Sox. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but it is certainly the way I'm leaning. What I'm going to do, though, you know what? I'll be the guy that either ruins this parlay before it starts or gets us really going for the day. I'm going to go Pirates. That's going to be my parlay leg. I think that has the most sort of value right now of any of the 3. And I'll be the guy that throws the underdog price in the parlay today. Brian, what are we looking at for that Pirates money line right now?
Maybe plus 113.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Grab a double play. I got a 4% play out. Adam, do you have a 4% out?
I will have at least 4%. The reason I haven't locked anything in yet is I am concerned with how much I like on today's slate. I rarely have there's rarely a 9-game slate where I'm showing like value on like 7 different games. And so I got to go do like the second pass and weed some of that out. Cause that should be a little bit of a red flag for you. If typically your numbers on a given day, like yesterday, I think I showed value on 3 different games. Mine are pretty conservative. Bryan talks about this a lot too, being like quite conservative. to me, like I'm going through the games this morning, I'm like, I can't possibly have there can't possibly be this many edges on a 9-game slate. So I'm going to go do a second pass, but I'll probably have at least one best bet 4% or maybe two. And one of those might be the Pirates. And if it is, I'll tell you what, because this is an early game, I'm going to use it in the parlay. If I play Pirates for clients, I will post it to my free picks page on WagerTalk, and I'll probably tweet it out as well. So I won't leave you hanging there.
Brian's being modest. He's the hottest one of us three. So I don't think you should leave him out if you're going to pick two guys. But hey, that's just me.
I'm just trying to get you guys some sales, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. But yeah, any two of us guys, you can't go wrong. So grab a double play. I've got a 4% out today, and I love it. There's a lot to like today. So anyway, sorry. Go ahead and summarize.
No, there is. There's a lot to like. We cashed a 3-teamer yesterday that put us in the plus on the parlay for the year. Shout out to all the haters that said we were never gonna, amount to a winning parlay. That we were never gonna get back in the plus of the parlay, and we're gonna do it again today. We are gonna go Pirates on the money line. Tokyo Brandon's going Dodgers on the money line. Bryan is gonna go Angels Mariners under 7.5. The odds on those: Pirates plus 113, Dodgers minus 190, Angels Mariners under 7.5 minus 123. That is your show today. The three of us will be back to do this all again, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. We'll see you guys then.